Hey YouTube, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles, and we are going, man, I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to talk about somebody else, and it's not something I enjoy doing. I like talking about me. Plus, usually, if you got somebody else's name in your mouth, you better have a really good reason for it, and today we do. So it's got to be done. There's no way around it. Something I ran across, looking at ads on Morph Market one day, killing some time, and I just can't let this go. That's, but anyway, here it goes. We got to do it. So, and I usually try to always, if I want to talk about something, I try to keep the name out and just talk about the situation. So I'm not trying to I don't want to bring a negative influence ever. I hate being negative. I hate bringing negativity. Not saying I've never done it, but we try our best to avoid that. In this case, I've got to use their name. I'm going to use their business name, and I'm going to use their personal name, and I'm even going to tell you what state they're out of because I think it's that important. It is what it is. So we are going to talk literally about an ad on Morph Market, and we're going to talk about, I'm going to make sure I say this right. I don't know if it's F&A, I think it's F&A, Balls, and Fred Martin out of Colorado. So F&A Balls put this ad up, and the only way I can really do this, guys, is I'm just going to read the ad to you while it's still there. I think that would be the best way to do it and get the point across of why this is so important to put out there. I was basically just doing some price checking on some things, and with that I found this ad and I thought, man, that price looks a little bit too good to be true. Hopefully the ad did. Oh, no, there it is. And I wanted to know why. And basically what I was price matched is if you look, F&A Balls has a pastel inchy butter up that's a proven breeder female for $500 at 2,500 grams. Now it caught my eye because I'll be honest, you had a 3-gene female, even though those are common genes, at $500 if it's a proven breeder. And we talk about all the time about, be careful where you buy proven breeders from. You've got to be careful where you buy your hets from, because not everything is as seen, and sometimes the deal is too good to be true, right? So I started doing a little more research. And let me read you the description. And if you haven't figured this out yet, I don't drop people's names when I have something bad to say. I try my best not to do that. In this case, this is a guy who I don't know. I've never met, was it Fred? It was Fred. I've never met Fred out of Colorado before. I have no experience with F&A Balls. But I can tell you right now, because of what he wrote in this description, I would not hesitate to buy a snake from him. I would not hesitate to buy a het from him. And I would not hesitate to buy a proven breeder from him. This guy, without me ever meeting him, has shown to me that he would have my stamp of approval as somebody I would trust. And I'm going to break his description down, and I'm going to tell you why. In his description, he says he purchased this female in 2019 as a 50-50 het hypo, het pied. And then they bred her to their hypo pied male in 2019 and got 7 good eggs from her with no slugs. None of the babies were pied or hypo. So right there, he's not listing the snake as possible pied, possible het hypo. You could have, because that's how you bought it. Somebody could say, well, maybe I just missed the odds. And they could have still put that on there and tried to jack up the price. Fred didn't. He's telling you right there, he attempted to prove that out, and it didn't prove out. That is most likely not there. You'd think if you had a visual, hypo-pied bred to this, I'm sure when he bought it, he's thinking, if I get both, awesome. I'll probably get one or the other, worst case. And he came up snake eyes. It happens to the best of us, man. But he's telling you right there from day one, it's not het. He didn't list it as a het. He gave you the evidence that his work and showed that it's not het. He also had 7 good eggs. He goes on. He could have just stopped there. In 2020, she reabsorbed her clutch. So now you know this is a female that in at least the last 3 years, 19, 20, 21, 22, where we're at, right? That the first year, 7 good eggs. Second year, she reabsorbed. He goes further. In 2021, she was bred to our Inchy Desert Ghost and produced 8 good eggs, or so we thought, and 2 slugs. 10 follicles, laid in April 2022. So he's telling you that was when she laid. This is the last time. 6 of the 8 eggs went bad during the incubation, and the 2 that hatched were unfortunately dead within a week. You want to talk about being transparent? This is case in point of why we talk about what we talk about. You know, and I'll redo this out in a non-truthful way here in a minute for you to show you how 95%, well, maybe not that, how a lot of people would write this out because they're more worried about money. F&A Balls is worried about reputation. They're worried about being honest. I mean, and you can just see it in here. He goes on to say, we don't think there's anything wrong with this girl. She just doesn't fit into our plans any longer. I get that. She did have 7 good eggs, so that tells you she can be bred. It's probably nothing overly wrong with her. But he's giving you all the information. From the day he got her, to the hets not proving, to her reabsorbing, to her having 8 eggs, 6 of which went bad, and the other 2 that survived passed away within a week. Meaning that there's probably something in that pairing that didn't go well, or in those eggs that didn't go into incubation, or whatever. Something didn't go well. He doesn't have to tell you any of that. He could have simply wrote this description. With purchased in 2019 as a 50-50 het hypo / het pied. Have bred her. She produced 7 solid eggs for us. No longer fits into our plans. We're letting her go. Here's the price. Jacked up his price. Probably sold that animal for more money than he's asking for by far. And somebody would have bought that thinking, man, I might be getting a het. Just true. I mean, it still could technically prove out. It ain't gonna, but it still technically could. And not realizing that it's had a few issues in its eggs. He didn't. He told you straight up, 100%. So we talk about being transparent, and we talk about being careful who you buy from. This is why. But when I read an ad like this, where I'm seeing that whole animal's history, man, it makes my heart jump with joy, because it tells me that there is a guy here that if I run across another ad of his on something I want, and I see his name there, and I see some other person's name who I don't know, I'm going to buy from him, because he has been honest with not just me. He put it out there on the internet for the world to see. That's awesome. So, if you look at that, it's $500 and you'll consider trades and offers. So hit him up, man. It was there posted in July 18, 2022 and last renewed just the other day on December 6th. Plus he's got some other stuff. And that goes on to show when I talk about being careful. So that made me look into this guy a little bit more. What else has he got there? This guy's got quad hets. We always talk about, man, when you buy a het on Morph Market, how do you know if you don't know the person? Well, now I know. Like, if he's going to tell me all of that, he's probably not going to make up some bullshit about hets, right? So would I be willing to drop the money if I was in the market for, say, a het albino pied albino, or sorry, don't buy a double het albino, a quad het hypo pied albino geest, right? Yeah, because this dude's not his guy. He's told me that. So this is a guy that I would literally buy from. Had I not read that ad, and had I never heard of him, would I want to drop big money? Although, I mean, it's not big money. It's a fair price on that. On a snake like that? No. No, I wouldn't. Because I don't know who they are. But he's shown me who he is. So do your research on people. Like, and when I read this, I mean, I literally screenshotted that ad while I was doing research. I was like, man, this is something I want to talk about. Because I don't see ads like that every day. I don't see ads that are like putting the dirty laundry out there and saying, hey, this is everything that's happened to this female. So I can tell why he bought her. It didn't work out. He paired her to something else, had a bad run. It was like, you know what? This needs to go to someone else because it doesn't really fit my plans to mess with this for what's going on. You know the history. If you buy it and it slugs out on you, you kind of are reabsorbed. You kind of knew it's had a history of doing that. If it has bad eggs, you kind of knew that was a possibility. If it has great eggs, it's done that too, and you're ready to roll. So, like, it's all out there for you to see. That is how we should all strive to write ads online. That is how we should all strive to operate online. And so I just wanted to give a shout out, if I'm going to drop that name, to Fred F&A Balls. I want to say it was Fred Martin, but I could be wrong. Where did it go? His name was on there. Was it Fred Martin, Caleb? Is that right?
Yes.
Fred Martin from F&A Balls at Arvada. I don't even know my Colorado town. It's a town in Colorado with probably a better view than Kansas. So, but a shittier football team. I'm just going to say it now, man. Deion Sanders can't fix all y'all's problems. All right. Caleb, anything that you want to add about this situation here? I mean, I showed you that ad. What did you think when you read that?
I mean, I pretty much thought what you thought. Like, not a lot of people go into even the details. A lot of people say proven breeder, and that is it. They don't even say when the last time she laid.
Right. I thought there was a lot of detail in there.
Yeah.
And going beyond that, just a proven breeder, where I read that and I'm like, oh man, why is this guy? I always say, if somebody's selling a proven breeder, ask why they're selling it. I don't need to ask why he's selling it. He told me everything about that snake. There's nothing hidden. There's nothing shady. There's nothing to hide in what's going on. It's just out there.
Something else that kind of sticks out to me is he was not just honest, but he divulged more information than he really had to.
Absolutely.
He could have just labeled it as pastel, pastel butter, Inchy.
Yeah.
He could have just left it at that and not even discussed about the hets.
Yeah, but I think that adds to it because
right. That's what I'm saying. Is he didn't have to do that. He's being more honest than what he really had to be.
And which to me that tells me why he's parting with that snake. It's pretty obvious he bought it, wanting to breed it to his visual to make recessives or double recessives with a few kicker genes in there. Proved it wasn't going to work out, and now it's just kind of a snake that's in a rack that he's breeding. And when it's time for it to go, it's time for it to go. I get that. Like, I totally understand where he's coming from on that. So, man, dude, you probably don't watch our channel. I get that. But if you happen to, for the love of all things holy, thank you. And I mean that. I sincerely mean that. Thank you for being transparent and honest. We don't have enough of that in this hobby. There are too many people out there who are concerned with their bottom line that the difference between a $500 animal and a $900 animal is a bit of honesty in this case. And they're going to try to make that into the $900 animal. You know damn well it shouldn't be. And that's the other thing too. I think because of the issues, his price has been adjusted accordingly. That's the other thing I would say. He's asking what I would consider to be a fair price given those issues, for that animal, which is also freaking awesome. That's a guy who said, I'm going to put less money in my pocketbook because I want to be honest and truthful. I don't want, especially somebody, because I'm thinking about, man, what if I was brand new and I ran across that and I bought that animal and I go to breed it and it turns out the animal does have an issue, because that history wasn't there. I didn't know. I'm going to think it's all on me. I think it's my fault. I'm probably going to bail on this hobby because it's just, I'm going to post out somewhere on Facebook and everybody's going to tell me how much I suck at life and then I'm going to disappear. And that happens. I feel like that happens way too much in this hobby. Here, if I was a new person looking to get that, I might pass on that snake. Somebody like me, if I want to add a female like that, I'd probably consider adding it because I'm getting it for a good price. I know the history. And, sometimes I know a snake like that just needs a change of scenery, and sometimes that spurs them on. I've had that happen. I've done that where I've had a snake that's been problematic and been a pain in the ass for me, and I've sold it, and it's been great for somebody else. Those things do tend to happen. But I love seeing that. So what I want to know from you guys when you get down in the comment section is I want you to post how coming across an ad like that, makes you feel about that breeder. Because I know there are some people out there who are like, oh, man, I don't want to write that I've ever had anything negative happen. Because, my God, if somebody finds out I had a clutch reabsorb, or in this case, I had 2 babies die within a week, they're going to not buy from me because they think I'm doing something wrong. Well, obviously, that's not people who are breeding. We've all had that situation happen. But I want you to tell me, if you ran across that ad, how it makes you feel about Fred and FNA balls. The hope is, if you guys feel the same way that I do, and it puts a positive spin on that person as a breeder, as people see that, more people will be willing to be open and honest, and put that out there because that's the proper information we should give. So awesome job. Caleb, anything you want to add?
Nope.
I think this video is a little shorter. Yeah, it's a little shorter than I want. See, guys, there's a whole thing with YouTube. They want me to make longer videos. They called me one day. No, they didn't do that. But this was going to be a little bit of a short one. I'm going to give you a Christmas break from hearing my voice, I guess. Well, you might get this after Christmas. Hell, I don't know. All right, guys, that is all I got. Thanks for watching. I will catch you all next time.